I had this dream that I pulled with our very old car into Sheets because the fuel gauge was low. And also, as I got out of the car, I saw steam, I saw fumes, I opened the hood, and the engine was on fire. It's not hard to understand, at least it was not hard for me in that situation. Dietmar, some red flags went up. You're running low on fuel, you're running out of juice, you're running on empty. And the other piece is you're overheating. It's getting too hot, you're burning the candle at both ends. Just cool down, don't overdo it. And sometimes I think we all have seasons like that where we may be too high, too excited, too many things going on. And where it helps us just to let go a little bit and to breathe more deeply. When we talk about prayer, that is what it is about at its core. It's kind of breathing more deeply and relaxing into grace, relaxing into God. There is this image sometimes that I have and that I hear from other people is like to connect with God. It's like God is on top of the mountain and I have to carry all the weight and have to make it all the way up to the mountain. And to make it there, I'm fully exhausted. That's sometimes how I imagine God would be. You gotta do it all yourself and work your way to God. The image that Paul gives us in Acts that you just heard is a totally different image of God. God is at hand, close by. You don't have to go anywhere. In God we live and move and have our being. Think of that little fish in the ocean. Fish in the ocean looking around. Hello, anyone there? Can you tell me where the ocean is? Where is the ocean? All I see is water. We're in the ocean. God is close at hand. It is right here and right now, and not the mountaintop, and not the lugging and carrying and effort that leads us closer to how our souls, hearts and souls connect with the living God. Sometimes I think prayer is more the undoing, the unlearning, the peeling off to become more sensitive and become more close and become more present. So how do we do that? I deeply believe that each and every one of us is already praying. We're just sometimes not aware of it. Think of your soul. What is the soul? The soul is what is closest to you. It's who you are at your heart, your core, your essence. Your soul is your very essence, who you are at the center. And that soul in you is already connected with God. So some people say the soul is the God part in you. God's part in you, it's God's soul already in you. So you see, it's already connected, the soul. It's already praying, breathing, connected. It's just the layers, the things that come in between, the hamster wheel, the getting to get this done or that done, or the distractions, or this or that. There are so many things. But the soul and God, they're already so close to each one of us. Sometimes I feel like I'm getting too worked up. I remember when I learned to swim, I was scared of the water. So what I first did is, my mom held me. But then I splashed and beat and I made a big whirl because I was so excited. I got wet, my mom got wet in her face. It was this hyperactive, it's kind of, until I learned that I don't have to do all of that. I can relax and experience that the water holds me and that it takes actually very little movement, just a little bit here and there, rather than the whole excitement. And that's a little bit how I imagine prayer to be. This more resting, this movement, the calming down, the presence, the center, to be connected with God in your soul, and your soul is already connected with God. The other experience I often had is, I'm getting anxious when I speak publicly. Well, I'm getting used to it. But growing up, it was very challenging for me. Still, in new settings. And what I notice when I do that, I breathe in, and I breathe in, and I breathe in, and I breathe in, and I'm all full, and I forget to breathe out. And sometimes I feel like working myself up in a tizzy or in a frenzy, and what it takes then is, it's gonna be okay. You can breathe out, it's gonna be okay. You see the hamster wheel, the paddling water anxiously, the breathing in, whatever it may be that keeps us from relaxing into God's grace, into paying attention to our own souls, because your soul is already connected with the living God. And the second part, how I know that you are already praying, is, do you ever say thank you? Saying thank you. Or feeling that gratefulness in your heart and expressing that. Actually, one of the greatest teachers of prayer, the medieval mystic Meister Eckhart, said, if thank you is your only prayer in your whole life, that's enough. Just live with a thank you in your heart. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The other thing, and when you look back at some of the images from 20 years ago, I still remember the voices. Some people said, oh my God. Now, isn't that a prayer that comes from the depths of, oh my God, this is so much bigger, so overwhelming. So sometimes just sharing a feeling from your heart and making yourself room and space and express that can be a prayer. And then prayer can be just recognizing beauty. You know, the cathedral of the woods, when you're there and raise your eyes, or right now, recently full moon, Moon is down at night, you can see the stars. Wow, what beauty is there. Or when you're on a kayak on a lake that is just mirror clear and flat and silent and quiet. Wow. Sometimes when you see a deer, the deer is seeing you and you make this eye connection and you feel like there is something to it. Whatever makes your soul resonate, whenever you pay attention to what moves you, spirit in you, that is where prayer starts, and I think that's where we return to prayer too. I often experience this, after everything is done, after everything is said, what comes then? You have done it all, you have said everything. There is this open space right there. And sometimes it's just that communion, the being present, communion with the living God in that quiet space. I invite you as you go through the week, pay attention to your soul. Where and how is your soul already connected with God, and how does that breathing in, that relaxing happen in your life? Something to think about, to breathe about and relax into, isn't it?